First contact and warning. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the Quantum Observatory's main viewing window, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the approaching fleet. The massive vessels, each larger than anything humanity had ever publicly revealed they could build, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Their energy signatures were unmistakable. The Kraxan Imperium had finally arrived. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. This wasn't unexpected. Humanity had been preparing for this possibility for over a century. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez's fingers danced across his haptic interface. 37 capital ships, Commander. Energy readings suggest they're running their weapons hot. They're making no attempt to mask their approach. Of course they weren't. The Kraxan Imperium had conquered 17 star systems in the last 50 years, and in their experience, primitive civilizations like Earth, or rather, what they thought Earth was, couldn't detect them until it was too late anyway. "Send the diplomatic package," Chen ordered, allowing herself a small smile. "Let's give them one chance to reconsider." The message broadcast on all known frequencies, transmitted in the standard galactic formats that Earth wasn't supposed to know about yet. "Attention Kraxan Fleet. This is Earth Defense Command. You are entering sovereign human space. Our scans indicate your weapons are powered. This is your only warning. Reverse course immediately." The response came quickly, just as their behavioral models had predicted. A hologram materialized in the center of the command center. Supreme Commander Vexthera of the Kraxan Imperium, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under his ship's lights. "Primitive species," he began, mandibles clicking in what their xenologists had identified as amusement. "Your detection of our approach is impressive, but ultimately meaningless. Our scans show your civilization barely maintains a presence beyond your moon. You have no significant orbital defenses, no fleet worthy of note. Submit now, and we will be generous in our terms." Chen exchanged glances with her senior staff. Everything was proceeding exactly as expected. For decades, humanity had maintained a careful facade, a seemingly modest space presence, deliberately outdated satellite technology, and carefully leaked evidence of the civilization just beginning to reach for the stars. The reality was very different. Hidden in dimensional pockets throughout the solar system were vast automated shipyards, quantum weapon platforms, and technological achievements that would shock their would-be conquerors. The Sol system wasn't defended by a primitive civilization. It was protected by one that had learned the value of keeping its true capability secret. "Supreme Commander," Chen responded, her tone respectful but firm, "we have studied the fate of the 17 systems you've conquered. We know your tactics, your technology, and your intentions. I ask you again, withdraw. What you see of our civilization is not all that we are." Vexthera's crystalline features shifted in what their analysts tagged as contempt. "You speak bravely for a species that hasn't even mastered basic graviton manipulation. Your primitive sensors cannot possibly." The 7th Fleet, currently cloaked in the shadow of Jupiter, consists of 15 capital ships. Chen interrupted, watching satisfaction flicker across her staff's faces as Vexthera's mandibles froze mid-click. "Your port-side support vessels are running their engines at 117% of recommended capacity, a subtle power fluctuation your engineers might want to examine. And your flagship's quantum shield grid has a 0.03 variance in the aft quadrant." For the first time in the conversation, uncertainty crept into the Kraxan commander's posture. "Impossible. You cannot." "Supreme Commander," Chen continued, her voice taking on an edge of steel, "what you see of humanity is what we choose to show. This is your final warning. The next communication will not be diplomatic." The hologram flickered as Vexthera turned to consult with his officers, their crystalline forms catching the light. When he faced Chen again, his mandibles were set in a rigid pattern their xenologists hadn't seen before. "You bluff well, primitive, but the Kraxan Imperium does not retreat. You will submit, or you will be conquered. You have one planetary rotation to Chen cut the transmission with a gesture. "Well," she said to her staff, "we gave them their chance." She opened a secure quantum channel to Earth Defense Command. "Admiral Zhang, they've made their choice. Request permission to proceed with Operation Revelation." The Admiral's response was immediate. "Permission granted, Commander. Show them exactly how primitive we aren't." Throughout the solar system, hidden installations began powering up. Dimensional pockets unfurled, revealing vast arrays of advanced weaponry. And in the depths of Jupiter's storms, humanity's real fleet began to move. The Kraxan Imperium was about to learn a harsh lesson about judging a civilization by its appearance. They thought they were the hunters, but they had just walked into humanity's trap. And humanity's weapon systems weren't just advanced. They were technologies the Kraxan had never even dreamed of. As Chen watched her tactical display light up with activation signatures, she couldn't help but feel a touch of pity for the invaders. They had come expecting to find prey. But instead, they had found something far more dangerous, a civilization that had spent a century preparing for this exact moment. "All stations," she broadcast, "initiate Phase 1. Let's show our guests exactly what humanity is capable of." The deception unveiled. The Kraxan fleet advanced through the solar system with the arrogant confidence of apex predators. Their massive ships, crystalline hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight, moved in textbook invasion formation. Supreme Commander Vexthera stood on his command deck, watching tactical displays with growing irritation. The humans' warning had been troubling, but their scans still showed nothing but primitive defenses. "Status report," he demanded, his crystalline fragments catching the light as he moved. "Maintaining optimal invasion trajectory, Supreme Commander," his tactical officer responded. "Human defensive satellites are primitive, using predictable radio frequencies. Their Mars colony shows minimal defensive capabilities. Everything matches our initial assessment of a Type 2 civilization." That's when the first sign of trouble appeared. Deep within the asteroid belt, quantum triggers activated. What appeared to be ordinary space rocks suddenly shed their carefully constructed facades. Thousands of microscopic drones, each smaller than a human finger, swarmed out from their hiding places. They moved with impossible precision, their quantum-linked AI networks coordinating faster than organic minds could process. "Supreme Commander." The tactical officer's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. "Multiple small objects detected. They're everywhere." Before Vexthera could respond, the swarm struck. The tiny drones didn't attack the ships directly. Instead, they targeted the Kraxan's supposedly impenetrable quantum shields. Each drone carried a phase-inverse generator, a technology that shouldn't have existed outside of theoretical physics. The shields didn't fail. They simply ceased to exist in the areas the drones touched. Impossible. Vexthera's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress. Their technology level, they couldn't possibly. The second wave hit before he could finish his sentence. Hidden graviton platforms, disguised as mineral formations in the asteroid belt, activated simultaneously. Beams of concentrated gravitational force lanced out, not to destroy, but to disrupt. The Kraxan fleet's artificial gravity systems went haywire. Crews found themselves floating helplessly or crushed against bulkheads as gravity shifted unpredictably throughout their ships. Back in Earth Defense Command, Commander Chen watched the chaos unfold with clinical precision. Phase 1 proceeding as planned. She reported to Admiral Zhang. "The Kraxan's battle coordination is severely compromised." "Excellent," Zhang responded. "Their fatal flaw has always been their inability to adapt to the unexpected. Proceed with Phase 2. Chen nodded to her communications officer. "Send the message." Throughout the Kraxan fleet, every communication system suddenly activated simultaneously. The humans' transmission override codes, technology that the Kraxan had thought safely encrypted, cut through their security like it didn't exist. "Attention Kraxan forces." Chen's voice echoed through every ship. "As we warned you, what you saw of humanity was only what we chose to show. Your shields are compromised. Your gravity systems are under our control. This demonstration used less than 2% of our defensive capabilities. On his flagship's command deck, now floating weightlessly, Vexthera watched in horror as new signatures appeared on his tactical displays. The gas giants, Jupiter and Saturn, seemed to ripple as massive hidden installations emerged from dimensional pocket space. Around Mars, what had appeared to be simple mining operations transformed, revealing advanced weapon platforms and shipyards. You came expecting to find primitive prey, Chen's voice continued. Instead, you found a civilization that has spent a century preparing for this moment. You have 30 minutes to power down your weapons and begin withdrawal procedures. If you comply, you will be permitted to leave with your fleet intact. If you resist, as if to emphasize her point, a single quantum torpedo. Technology the Kraxan had only theorized about, launched from a hidden Earth platform. It struck an uninhabited asteroid, and the space rock didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, converted entirely to energy in a demonstration of physics mastery that left the Kraxan scientists aboard their ships in stunned silence. Your time starts now, Chen concluded, cutting the transmission. In Earth Defense Command, she turned to her staff. Maintain battle readiness. The Kraxan aren't known for their ability to swallow pride. Prepare for their response. Commander, Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, we're detecting power spikes across their fleet. They're charging weapons. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Kraxan were reacting exactly as predicted. Their pride wouldn't let them retreat, even in the face of overwhelming technological superiority. That's precisely what humanity had counted on. Very well, she said, opening a channel to the hidden fleet near Jupiter. All ships, execute Phase 3. Show them what a primitive civilization can really do. The trap was about to snap shut completely, and the Kraxan were about to learn why humanity had been so confident in its warnings. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity had barely started to reveal its true capabilities. Counterstrike. Supreme Commander Vexthera's pride had sealed the Kraxan fleet's fate. As their weapons charged, humanity's response was immediate and devastating. From the shadows of Jupiter, Earth's hidden fleet emerged. But these weren't conventional warships. Each vessel was a masterpiece of quantum engineering, their hulls incorporating technologies that the Kraxan had only theorized about. Multiple contacts. The Kraxan tactical officer's crystalline form vibrated with barely contained panic. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. They're everywhere. The human ships seemed to flicker in and out of reality, their quantum drive systems allowing them to exist partially in multiple dimensions at once. Traditional targeting systems proved useless. How do you hit something that exists in 5 dimensions simultaneously? Commander Chen watched from Earth Defense Command as humanity's true military might revealed itself. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega. Show them what we can really do. The human fleet moved with impossible precision. Decades of AI integration and quantum-linked neural networks allowed their ships to coordinate at speeds no organic crew could match. They didn't just attack the Kraxan fleet. They danced around it, their advanced propulsion systems making a mockery of what the invaders had thought were superior maneuverability capabilities. Impossible. Vexthera raged as another of his destroyers reported critical systems failure. Their technology. They couldn't have developed this in secret. But they had. While the rest of the galaxy saw humanity focusing on trade and cultural exchange, vast resources had been poured into secret research and development. Every encounter with alien species had been carefully analyzed, their technologies studied and improved upon. Earth hadn't just prepared for invasion. They had used their perceived weakness as a shield to develop technologies that surpassed anything their potential enemies possessed. The battle in space was spectacular, but it wasn't just a display of military might. It was a demonstration of humanity's true nature, innovative, adaptable, and far more dangerous than anyone had suspected. Sir, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, the Kraxan fleet is attempting to regroup. They're trying to form a defensive sphere. Chen nodded. Just as predicted. Deploy the quantum mesh. Throughout the battlefield, tiny quantum beacons activated. They had been scattered throughout the solar system years ago, waiting for this moment. As they powered up, they created an interlocking network of quantum fields, a three-dimensional mesh that could selectively disrupt faster-than-light travel and communications. The Kraxan fleet suddenly found themselves cut off from both retreat and reinforcement. Their quantum communications, thought to be unblockable, fell silent. They were alone, trapped, and facing an enemy that had outmaneuvered them at every turn. Your ships are isolated, Chen transmitted to the Kraxan fleet. Your communications are blocked. Your weapons are proving ineffective. This is your final chance to surrender. On his flagship's bridge, Vexthera watched his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by an enemy he had grievously underestimated. Ships he had thought invincible were being disabled with surgical precision. The humans weren't even trying to destroy them. They were systematically removing their ability to fight, like a parent disarming an aggressive child. Supreme Commander, his second-in-command approach, mandibles clicking nervously. We cannot win this battle. These humans, they're not what we thought they were. Vexthera's crystalline form dimmed slightly, a sign of deep distress among his species. Everything he had believed about humanity, every assessment and assumption, had been wrong. They weren't primitive. They weren't weak. They had simply been patient, waiting and preparing for this very moment. In Earth Defense Command, Chen received a priority alert. Commander, we're detecting power fluctuations in the Kraxan flagship. They're powering down their weapons. A transmission came through from the Kraxan fleet. Vexthera's hologram appeared, his once proud posture now subdued. Commander Chen, he began, his voice carrying the weight of defeat. The Kraxan Imperium requests terms for surrender. Chen allowed herself a small smile. A wise decision, Supreme Commander. But understand this, when you return to your empire, you will carry a message. Humanity is not to be underestimated. We chose peace not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Remember what you witnessed here today. As the Kraxan fleet began their surrender procedures, Chen opened a channel to Admiral Zhang. Sir, Phase 3 is complete. The Kraxan threat has been neutralized. Excellent work, Commander, Zhang replied. But our job isn't finished. Now comes the most important part, showing the galaxy that humanity can be as merciful in victory as we are powerful in battle. The Admiral's Gambit. The hours following the Kraxan surrender were crucial. As Commander Chen supervised the careful disarmament of the invasion fleet, Admiral Zhang prepared for an even more important battle, the political one that would follow. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity needed to control the narrative. Open a channel to the Galactic Council, Zhang ordered from his command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. It's time for Phase 4. The Council's emergency session chamber materialized in holographic form. Representatives from 37 spacefaring civilizations watched in stunned silence as Zhang presented evidence of the battle. The Kraxan Imperium, the terror of the galaxy's outer rim, had been defeated not by a massive military campaign, but by a supposedly primitive species they had tried to conquer. Honorable representatives, Zhang began, his hologram standing tall in the council chamber. What you have witnessed today was not just a military victory. It was a demonstration of why appearances can be deceiving, and why peaceful coexistence is always preferable to conquest. The chamber erupted in a chaos of questions and demands. The Centaurian representative, their ethereal form shimmering with agitation, spoke first. How long has Earth possessed these technologies? Why the deception? Zhang's response was measured, calculated to send exactly the right message. Humanity has learned through its own bloody history that technological advancement without wisdom leads to destruction. We chose to appear primitive not out of fear, but out of prudence. We wanted to know who would treat us with respect, regardless of our apparent capabilities. Back in the solar system, Commander Chen was implementing the more practical aspects of this new reality. The Kraxan crews, expecting harsh treatment, were surprised to find themselves treated with professional courtesy. Medical aid was provided to their injured. Their damaged ships were assisted with repairs. "Your engineers may inspect the repair team's work," Chen informed Vexthera, who watched in confused wonder as human technical crews efficiently repaired damage that his own specialists had deemed irreparable. "We want you to return home safely, and with a complete understanding of what you encountered here." The message was clear. Humanity didn't just possess advanced technology. They had mastered it to such a degree that they could afford to be generous to their defeated enemies. In the council chamber, the revelations continued. Zhang revealed how Earth had used its centuries of apparent technological stagnation to study, improve upon, and in many cases, completely reinvent technologies they had observed in other species. The quantum mesh that trapped the Kraxan fleet, Zhang explained to the amazed council. It was inspired by the Arcturian trading vessel's navigation systems, the dimensional pocket technology, a refinement of concepts we observed in Pleiadian cargo ships. We didn't just copy, we innovated, improved, and evolved. The Syrian ambassador, their crystalline form glowing with intense colors, raised the question everyone was thinking. "What else are you hiding, Admiral Zhang?" Zhang's smile was diplomatic but carried a hint of steel. "That, honored representatives, is precisely the point. Humanity has chosen peace and trade not because we must, but because we believe it is the best path forward. Today's demonstration was not meant to threaten, but to establish a new understanding. Earth desires friendship, but will not tolerate aggression." In the solar system, Shen received a priority communication from one of the repair teams. "Commander, the Kraxan engineers, they're requesting technical exchanges. They want to learn from us." Chen shared this update with Admiral Zhang, who incorporated it smoothly into his ongoing diplomatic offensive. Already, former adversaries are becoming potential partners. This is the future we envision, one of mutual respect and shared advancement. The council chamber buzzed with discussion. The galaxy's power structure was realigning itself in real time. Earth, the supposedly primitive world on the spiral arm, had just revealed itself as one of the most technologically advanced civilizations known, and had done so not through conquest, but through strategic revelation and measured response. There will be those who see this as a threat, the Pleiadian elder warned, their energy form flickering with concern. Perhaps, Zhang acknowledged, but they would do well to learn from a Kraxan's experience. Humanity extends its hand in friendship first, but we are prepared for those who mistake our preference for peace as weakness. Victory and consequences. 1 month after the failed invasion, Commander Sarah Chen stood in Earth's newly revealed primary shipyard, hidden within a dimensional pocket near Venus. Before her, Supreme Commander Vexthera and a delegation of Kraxan engineers studied the quantum manufacturing systems with unconcealed amazement. "Your fabrication technology," Vexthera said, his crystalline form reflecting the soft light of the facility. "It's beyond anything we imagined possible. The way you've merged quantum engineering with AI oversight." Chen nodded, remembering how different this scene was from their first encounter. "Technology is just a tool, Supreme Commander. It's how we choose to use it that defines us." The Kraxan delegation was just one of many. In the weeks following the battle, Earth had become the center of galactic attention. Representatives from dozens of civilizations had arrived, each hoping to establish new relationships with the suddenly revealed technological powerhouse. In lunar orbit, Admiral Zhang concluded another session with the Galactic Council's Transition Committee. The galaxy's political landscape was transforming, with Earth playing a central role in shaping its new direction. "The technology exchange programs are proceeding as planned," his aide reported. 17 civilizations have already signed the new Mutual Defense and Development Treaty. Zhang smiled, remembering the centuries of preparation that had led to this moment. Humanity had hidden its true capabilities not out of fear, but because they understood something fundamental about power. It was most effective when wielded with precision and purpose. Back in the shipyard, Chen led her visitors to the facility's central control room. "This is what we wanted to show you," she said, activating the main display. "Our latest project." The hologram showed a massive structure taking shape in a dimensional pocket near Pluto, a galactic academy. "We're calling it the Sol Institute of Advanced Sciences," Chen explained, "a place where all species can come together to learn, innovate, and grow." Vexthera's mandibles clicked in what Chen now recognized as thoughtful consideration. "You're not just revealing your technologies, you're offering to teach others how to develop them." "With proper safeguards," Chen confirmed. "We believe that knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. The galaxy faces challenges that no single species can solve alone." In the depths of Earth Defense Command, the quantum AI networks that had helped orchestrate humanity's victory processed new data, reports of other potential aggressors backing down, of trade routes being redrawn, of diplomatic relations shifting and evolving. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the heart of that change. Admiral Zhang's final report to the World Council summed up the situation perfectly. "For centuries, we prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. We developed our technologies in secret, not to dominate, but to ensure we could never be dominated. Now we have the opportunity to help shape a galaxy where such preparations might one day become unnecessary." Commander Chen, watching the Kraxan delegation depart with their first batch of approved technology transfers, reflected on how much had changed. The invaders had become students, the hidden had become teachers, and humanity's long game had paid off in ways even they hadn't fully anticipated. "Commander," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station, "we're receiving requests for diplomatic relations from 3 new civilizations. They're from outside the known galaxy." Chen shared a knowing look with her staff. Humanity's revelation had sent ripples far beyond their local cluster. New challenges and opportunities were already emerging. But this time, they wouldn't face them alone, and they wouldn't face them in hiding. "Send word to Admiral Zhang," she ordered. "Tell him Phase 5 is ready to begin. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest technology isn't our quantum drives or dimensional engineering. It's our ability to turn enemies into allies and challenges into opportunities." As her message was transmitted, Chen looked out at the shipyard where vessels from a dozen different species now docked peacefully alongside human ships. The Kraxan invasion had meant to end human independence. Instead, it had sparked a new age of galactic cooperation, with humanity leading the way not through force, but through innovation and wisdom. The galaxy would never be the same, and that, after all, had been the plan all along.